Hello everybody, I'm back again on the Thursday, the live stream today about Go2. We have some new presets and I have a bit other news for you. But first I have to check here on the computer if the chat room is working. Let's see how things are going. Oops, the wrong button pressed here, so I need to course do it the right way. Okay, let's see if this works now. So I pressed the wrong button, which means that I'm in the wrong page on YouTube to see the chat. So okay. The wrong page yeah, you can hear my voice now. So that's good. Yes. Hello everybody, and thanks for joining again this live stream. As you can see, we have Go2 here. And I wanted to show two new things about. We have new presets and we have a new section in our homepage. Oh, and I see that Vitali is also in the chat room. Vitali made some very cool presets for Go2, some industrial stuff, and we're gonna play them very soon. And let me first show you this part. Okay, I need to open now the home page. So if you go to, I show you a new page we have now. So if you go here to the Papen home page, there is now in sound sets is the Earlybird presets. And the Earlybird presets are presets which are not yet in the factory sound patches, because here we regularly have updates of our products with little bug fixes and sometimes also new features, but very often new presets. But there's always a time gap between this. So what I did is making a new page which is called the Earlybird presets. So these are presets which will show up also in the factory preset list once we do a update. But you already can enjoy them now, and you can see that now we have today for Go2 presets you can download, which are new presets from JoMal and a new presets, a bank from Vitali. So you can download it in the own format, and in case you have the Anker S keyboard or a machine from Native Instruments, you also can download the Anker S presets. The only thing which is the case with the Anker S presets that they don't have the audio previews. That only will happen in the factory presets. So once we have the update with these new presets, you also will have the audio previews. So here you can see where you can download it. It's a zip file. If you open the zip file, let's do this if I can. Here it opens. If you open the zip file, you can see here the new JoMal presets and its new folder. So copy this complete folder from Vitali to the banks folder and open the JoMal page and copy over the JoMal presets. So this is new. So very soon we also have some Predator 2 presets which are new, which are not inside the factory patches. So this is an early bird preset page and something you need to keep an eye on. And if something is new inside of it, I always Twitter it or will mention this on Facebook. So that's the first news. And let's play a few of these presets. Let's start with JoMal. JoMal had already one bank with some nice presets. This first preset I was playing is one of them. Sequence preset, and you see he uses the modulation matrix to do some additional stuff. One thing which is interesting, this preset, he uses the pitch band to change the amplifier decay, and the pitch band also changes the oscillator morphing. So listen what happens once I start using this pitch band, which you can see in the stream in the upper left corner. If I'm not wrong, you should be able to see it. Maybe I have to move the screen a bit more to the right. Let's see. Okay. So you should see it there. There's a keyboard. And you see my pitch band. So I play the sound now and open the pitch band here on the left side. That's very cool about JoMal. He always uses the max out of our products, and always uses the pitch band in the modulation wheel in a very creative way. So what I also did is going to the bank manager, I put a star to it so that I can find easily back these new presets. Okay, so this is another one. This preset's no pitch band and modulation wheel is used. This is a nice one using the chord feature which is available here. You see in the ARP, the first step has the value set, and set is what is set here in the play mode. So in the play mode it is set to -7, but then on step number 7 he adds a minor A9. And if you have a nice beat, let's throw a beat inside. There's another sound by Go2. Okay, so I would maybe add on the modulation wheel. It's up here. So the modulation wheel I set to negative, and then the filter would go down if I open the modulation wheel. So some very interesting options you always have with the modulation wheel and the pitch band. So this is one of the other sounds. In total 11 new sounds from JoMal. So let's go to another one. This is a more an FX sound. This one would be great for a tune in a I picture here a American television show with a kind of a game which they play with a few people playing a game, and then somebody had made a good point. So funny sound, but it can be useful. I mean, we have all kind of customers, also customers who do, of course, audio, video, sound design stuff, and so you never know where sound can land. This one is again using the arpeggiator with a chord. Also here you can see the modulation wheel opens the filter a bit, therefore the modulation wheel is here in the filter. You see, and then the pitch band isn't controlling the pitch band, which is standard done here, up here. There is the pitch band up and down, but here for the pitch band is connected to the amp decay. So if you open the pitch band, the decay becomes short. You can do some creative stuff with this. So that's another preset. This is an FX sound. Okay, let's go. A bass. Or more lead sound, analog type lead sound. That's a new one. Then there is a bass. This reminds me very much on this little baby behind me, the Moog synthesizer. So very nice, classic style. And you see down here in the modulation matrix, there is a modulation wheel which controls the amount of the first slot. So the free LFO is connected to the filter, excuse me, and the amount is 0. So when I open the modulation mount, this one controls the first slot. So the modulation wheel makes that the amount goes up. So now there's no LFO. I open the amount. And the same happens with the oscillator 3 symmetry. When I use the modulation wheel, the symmetry, you see that up here starts to move. Symmetry is the midpoint of a waveform, and you can modulate between them. So check, this is the modulation wheel. Check here in the upper left corner, you see this modulation wheel. I open it and you suddenly see that the symmetry modulation starts. So Jamal, his presets are always very interesting to study in terms of what the sound does, but also in terms of what you can do with a synthesizer. Then there is Native FX, is also FX. Let's hear it. Weird FX sound. Then another one. This is a pad sound. This is from next to this bass you just heard. It's one of my favorite, but this one, the Paradox pad, is also very, very nice. Especially when you use the modulation wheel, it controls the symmetry. You see, modulation wheel, destination is oscillator symmetry, so it changes the symmetry. This one uses the comp filter. This is very interesting. It's a kind of delay. And Jamal loves to use the comp filter, and he had some great presets with this. And then there is this one. You might think that here is a kind of arpeggiator working, but that's not the case. The play mode is polyphonic, but there is a kind of re-triggering. And if I go down here, we have, of course, slot 1 to 4, 5 to 8. He uses 4 slots. Let's see what is happening. The modulation wheel changes the high pass filter, which is here. And then I think the triggering, what you hear, should be somewhere to see. Let's see what is doing this. It's the free LFO. The free LFO triggers the morphing, so the morphing is changing by the free LFO. The free LFO is here, and you see the pitch is synchronized to 1/8 quarter beats. So this produces this sound, and it's tempo based, of course. So if you would have a bar, let's see, I need to start on a full bar. That's very nice. You can change the speed here of this preset and suddenly you have a total different feel of the sound in the track. So this is the sound Pulse Sonic JoMal. Uses the LFO, which is in sync mode. And you see here in the modulation matrix, it's used the LFO to change the morphing of the oscillator, which generates this typical sound. Very interesting preset. So then we have the last one, that's a Space Orchestral FX. This is a orchestra which is in distress, I guess. After a heavy rehearsal, you get all these kind of noises. So most likely it was a concert with Stockhausen, something like that. So that for the new preset from JoMal. For the later guys who joined in later on, they already can be downloaded on this new page on the homepage, which is called, if you go to the homepage, you go to sounds, and then you have the Earlybird presets. So, but check later on, otherwise the video in the beginning I show it. Well, then there is a new bank which is very different than what you heard from JoMal or any other banks, is from Vitali. And Vitali has some very almost raw-like, so we have this raw synthesizer, some of you know this maybe, which is very aggressive, heavily focusing on distortion. And Vitali made some great sounds by using Go2 for this type of music style. So for industrial, for hardcore type, industrial hardcore. So let's play a few presets. They pretty much distorted because, yeah, you see here inside the Go2 in the amplifier we also have distortion. So it can sound also very nasty. Yeah, some nasty basses. So cool for drum and bass, industrial, more the edgy style of stuff. Okay, so 15 new presets from him. It's a wobble. Using the XY pad, modulation wheel changes also the amount of one of the modulation. More tuning. Yeah, some interesting, very different in terms of sound. And so this way you really can see how versatile Go2 is. I think we nailed it by doing little things, adding to it, that you still have a huge amount of sound options. Even if you compare Go2, for instance, to Predator 2 or Blue 2 or maybe Blade or Raw, it has in totally less features, but still it can do some fantastic stuff. And that's what I always say. Limitation makes people also creative. So you do different stuff with it. And of course, all the effects on board are from very high quality. There are some really edgy lead sounds. Just playing it. And what I understand, Vitali is also using in them in the latest tracks. I guess they will appear in some industrial labels. Or more the edgy lead sound. Very nice one. You hear kind of percussion at the start. I guess in a nice track it will suit. Let's see. We had also some pad sounds. It's good to play chords or melody, low and high notes. Yeah, of course, the guy who made the presets know, of course, the range of these sounds. Well, let me see. I had another one here. Sequences. Very nice. And he also mentions the note which you could play. Of course, you need to have a stir. And you can hear how much influence distortion has. So in the amp section, a Go2 has a distortion. If I go back now, the sound is clean. Go back now. And also the high pass filter has quite some influence, especially if you use the distortion. You have to find the sweet tone, of course. So there are some very some really good stuff for the more harder music styles. I'm looking for one particular one. Yeah, the bass is very good of Go2, but it's with all the Rob Papen synthesizers, you have a very good audio quality. It's a nasty sound. It's more trancy-like. Although this is also used in a hardcore style, of course. So I use again the modulation wheel, and that's something you also can do yourself. If you see that the modulation wheel doesn't do anything, go to the filter and you see if the modulation wheel is from the center to the left, it closes the filter. If the modulation wheel is from the center to the right, it opens the filter. It's just what you want to have, of course. And what a lot happens is that people try to use the cutoff frequency for closing the filter, but why not use the modulation wheel? The cool thing about the modulation wheel is if you use this in a track, you really can feel it. going down. So if you would have a track and this would be inside this track, you really could feel it. Yeah, and what you also hear from Go2, I think, we did not compromise on the audio quality. It would be ridiculous. It's a different concept, but it's not a different concept in terms of quality. So if I put off the reverb, you hear how good the quality of the reverb is. What you very often have, if you have a low quality reverb, you better not use it, because delay is easy to program. But reverb is a really difficult algorithm to get a nice sound. The reverb, in my opinion, should embrace the sound, should not make it metallic or push it away in some way. It really should be sounding natural and warm, and this is what happens at Go2. So this is on this sound. Okay, let's see if we still have some more. This is nasty. Should be 180 beats per minute. Let's see if I can have that in a short second. Not sure about that. 1 second. No, that will be a hard one. Let me see. 180. Yes, I have 180. Now I need to go back to Go2. Where is it? It's very nasty sound. Distorted patches, indeed. But very cool. So even like a bass drum. So you see how versatile Go2 is. It's amazing. I mean, of course, it's all in the programmer behind it. It's more the distorted sequences. Yeah. But you see how versatile Go2 is. I mean, so this is the other new bank. A lot of maybe Vitali, he's in the chat room. Vitali, maybe you can mention the one you like best from your presets. Maybe you can type it, then I can play this preset. And then I check also the chat room. Oh, somebody just mentioned the P series, Reason users Nektar. Oh, that's cool that they have the rec extension and the VST fully mapped out. So Reason Talk, that's a forum from Reason, and so we should check that out. I have a keyboard here, it's there. I have the Nektar P6, very nice keyboard, and it has a very good work situation for Reason with the controls, and they laid out also the controls for all product. The plug, okay. Yes, several plugs. Okay. Which number? Of course, you have to hear them in the music. Yeah. So Vitali is also using Go2 now in his latest production. And what he mentions in the chat room is that Go2 really stays very well in the mix. You don't lose it. It's there. It has dynamics. It has brilliance. It has substance. I like this one. I like this one because it's a bit distorted, but still also very spacey. I have a nice melody. Maybe we should make a remix from this one. So I play this melody, you make a remix. Okay, so a very nice bank. And again, check at the beginning of the live stream so that you can find these presets. And of course, in an update, we will add these presets to the factory bank. So it's called number 20. 20 we use for the artist. So the starting number is 20. Vitali, bank number 1. 50 very cool presets you can check out. Yeah. Cool. Yeah, you see, very different. I mean, if I go back simply to one of the factory patches, the other ones. Sounding sweet, or this one. Very different, or this one. Yes, it's so versatile, and of course it's just when I go back here to this it's a different sound, different taste. Oh, let's go to another bank here. This is the Voltage Disciple. They are from down under, and they make house, deep house, some other types of presets. These are already inside your Go2. You can see it sounds very warm, and they have some very cool. I just pick one. Let's go back to this tempo we had. 1 second, guys. On the 20. Just playing a few presets from this bank. Yeah, indeed. It's so what I wanted to mention, of course, we had this range with the raw Papen plugins with Bluetooth, Predator 2, very deep synthesizer, and I had the idea that, well, we should create something which is similar. If you would take, for instance, a brand like Roland, they have a Jupiter 8, which is behind me. I have a live stream about it a few weeks ago, but they also made a SH101, and together you can use them. You simply do different things with it. And that's the cool thing about synthesizers. It's like guitars. I mean, you have a steel string guitar, you have a classic guitar, you have electric guitars with different types of sounds and taste. So that's the basic idea. And what we missed was with Go2, of course. What we missed was a synthesizer which was a bit less complicated, but still, I mean, you can do a lot with this machine. So and of course, for the new generation, which is starting new, many people start as a DJ, then they want to produce also their own records. They start using music software, and then Go2 is a very good entry into the world of raw Papen plugins. Okay. let's see to the chat room. Okay. Yeah, anybody maybe a question? What I did a few weeks ago was I had this little beat which has Go2, but there's another one. Let's see, where is it? Oh, this sound, it was made from scratch. I have to say it right. Uses the phaser. Okay, what we could do is maybe put a bass below it. Okay, need to... Oh, cancel. Wrong button. So with Go2 you can do a lot, even drums. So I would say drums, yeah. Kick drum. Snare. Although the snare is nicer if you add a bit more distortion to it. But let's check for a bass. Okay, and I had this bass. So this could be a nice bass, for instance, for below this sequence. So it uses, let's show it to you. You see, this is Go2, this chord sound I use. Few X. Then there is some drums from Punch. And now I'm gonna do this bass below it. So. Okay, wrong. Need to pick the right track, of course. So that's the wrong track. So it's this preset, which is from this Voltage Disciple Bank Bass Band Sub. You see, very nice low end. Only you hear each time this click. Hear that? Well, this I can change because it's now in the play mode is mono, and if I want to have this typical Moog style of playing, I go to legato, and then only when I lift the keyboard fully, it re-triggers. So now listen. So you hear? I play other notes, we don't hear the click anymore. So let's play it again. This was legato, played mono. Legato. You get this sub feel to it. So so that's maybe also something you could do on your own. If you find a nice bass sound and you hear that each time you hit the note, it re-triggers, it starts from the start. The envelopes, in fact, it starts the envelopes. Or in poly mode, then you have a bass which is polyphonic, of course. And you want to have this groovy kind of thing, which you often maybe hear in the in some tracks, and you think, how do they do this? This bass is so slippery in the melody. Then, well, then most likely legato mode is used. So each time when I lift the note in the key, then it starts again triggering the envelopes. These are the envelopes. They determine the time, how long the sound sounds. So, so when I play this now in the track, you see it's very different. So let's see what I played now. There it is. down here you can see it, maybe. I don't know if you guys can see it. I should go a bit higher. Okay, again. Hear that groovy thing about it? So when I play this again to mono, you can hear that that doesn't work for this kind of type of bass sounds. Each time it triggers. So my timing is not perfect, maybe I could quantize it. But you see, this legato mode is very, very cool for this type of housey, groovy basses. And you see, also in legato mode, you can use the portamento. Each time the note is held. So maybe I should make it a bit. So if I portamento down and portamento open. Also this is nice in combination with the bass. Let's see how it sounds now. So there's little things you can do a lot with just changing the play mode. So if you have a bass and you see it's on mono, try it out in legato mode. And somebody that's mentioned slower attack also could work. Yeah, that's maybe a nice idea. So to have somebody that's mentioned it. Let's see what happens. Yeah, you got a bit of side chaining, so less firm attack it has. Okay. Yeah, somebody's mentioned the phaser. Yeah, the cool thing about the phaser and the flanger is that they are MIDI time based. So the modulation, this LFO is MIDI time based. So you can really use it as a sound tool. Let me show it to you. So if I go to this this chord sound. Here it is. It plays a minor 7, just one note, I believe, made from scratch. And then I use the phaser here. You can see that one is used. And if you go to the readout, and the readout, if I'm above a dial, the readout is up here. You can see that the speed is 4 bars dotted. So that's quite slow. I can increase that. It's faster. And if you start the sequencer also on a first bar, it really sings very nice. Now flanger. You see, just by changing the flanges, you got a totally different sound. And what I see here from scratch, modulation wheel changes the high pass filter and also the delay feedback. So in the modulation matrix, you also can control the FX. Let's see what happens. It's more reggae type stuff. I think cool for maybe psytrance. So just by using the flanger, I open the length, so and then the speed is set to the flanger, also very slow. Let's put it a bit faster. There's a panning amount. You see in the upper section there's the readout, so if I change the speed now, so that's really very, very cool about Go2. So with the modulation matrix, you not only can control all the synthesizer parts, but you also can change the FX section. And don't be afraid to fiddle around with it and do some odd stuff with it. Okay. So I'm going back to the chat room. We have still some, about some 15 minutes. Maybe somebody has a question about Go2. By the way, I still need to make this video about the bank manager, because this is very handy, the bank manager. There are some cool features like giving a sound a star. And now you see I changed the preset. And then, oh, oops, gone is the preset, but you have the recently browse. And then you can go back to the preset you had. I think it was the default, but I'm not sure if that one. No, it's not saved. So essentially I lost this preset I just made, but that's not a problem. I did not save the song, so this little, so this is how I started. Yeah, somebody is Vitali is asking some new distortion effects in Go2 in the future. Yeah, what we need to be careful with is, of course, making it again complexer and complexer, and then you get again Predator 2 or Bluetooth. So, but maybe just by tiny little things we can do still add some additional cool stuff. But we want to limit it down, because Go2 is about the fact that you do the things with the things you see in front of you. So you do the things with all the features you see. And yeah, an option would be if the amp section, this is distortion, that we would have maybe a button here where you have distortion A and distortion B. The filter types available, these are the filter types: 12 dB, 12 dB bandpass, 12 dB notch, and then 24 dB in two types. So they are different in terms of character: 24 bandpass, 24 dB notch, and the comp filter. So it's compared to, by the way, this is the back panel. So if you would compare this, for instance, let's see, I don't know if I'm having it open here. No. Add track, instrument. Okay. Just as an example, if we would go now to Predator 2, we have this as filter types, so 3 times as much. And then, for instance, in Predator 2 we have comp filter positive, negative. We have a vowel filter, form and 2 and form and 2, and 4 bands, so different filter types. But again, that's the whole idea, is that we push the user with Go2 really in one direction, to use the max out of it. And if people want to have endless possibilities and really go to the limit, then Predator 2 is far more better choice, because there the options are even huge, I could say. Yeah, the Go2 has two filters, which you can have different routings with the oscillators, but it's different. I mean, it's so. I mean, I had even a choir sound that sounded so real. Well, this one uses a comb filter. Okay. Well, somebody had another question. So this is Go2 and we want to talk about Go2. Somebody did ask, can you change the order of the affix? No, that's not possible. It's first chorus, then you get a flanger or the phaser, and then you get the delay or the reverb. And what most find a bit pity that you cannot use the delay and the reverb at the same time. Maybe in the future we can do a kind of update that you can combine delay and reverb together, so that it first goes into the delay and then into the reverb. But we need to see that. As mentioned, it's yeah, we have to stop somewhere. Otherwise you get again a predator if you do this function, that function, and that function. It's the basic well, I would not say simplicity, because Go2 is not simple. I mean, you could put me on an island and I could make a whole album only using Go2. So it goes from these digital sounds. So it's called ESQ1. Which I worked a lot with in the past. And okay, let me see. A good sound doesn't have to be complex always. It's this before, but mellow saw lead is just one saw waveform with a very nice setting. Or this one. Really classic synth sounds. Well, I had one more. I'm looking for another one, sorry. Where is it? It had just one oscillator. Let me see if I can find it. Not really. That's a Core MS-20 type of sound. But that's not the sound I'm looking for. I mean, this is already a very complex sound just by using Go2. Because one of the cool features is that you can morph between the two waveforms. This gives so many possibilities. Okay, so maybe this one? No, this is again more classic. You hear this little glitch? Well, this is the envelope. The envelope controls one. you see we have one oscillator, but the moment when you use spread, it turns into a 2 oscillator sound, and one detunes up and one detunes down. And the 2 spread oscillators can be modulated separately. So if I go here down, let's go away with that one. So if you see here in the modulation matrix the target of the oscillator, you see the semi-tune from the up spread, from the up oscillator, or the fine tune. And I used it, oops, there was the wrong button. You see that I use the free envelope, which is this one, to control this. And when I double click on the amount, it's gone. So this is essentially what happens. But this is of course too deep, so I do it only a little bit, a tiny bit amount. So you get this little glitch in the sound, which is very nice. I also use it in, let's see where it was. No. Moon Synth. Yeah, here. And this one uses a Vox harmonic, so this is a waveform which has the harmonics analyzed from a vocal. And you see it moves from Vox 2 to Vox 1. And this little pitch glide, this free envelope, that gives this special taste to this sound. Yeah, brass sounds. Yeah, Go2 is very good in digital sounds. Yeah, it's very versatile, but also the classic classic synths are very good possible, I think. I need to see where it is. Is the there's a dirty flanger to it. Okay. Oh, it's this one. This was the one oscillator. You hear the reverb? Maybe I put it a bit louder, more reverb. Very warm, analog, yeah, the things you hear from a mini Moog with just one oscillator on, with a nice, very expensive reverb on it, and then you get this sound. And you see I use the modulation wheel for opening the filter, that's up here, but it also adds the vibrato. Or I can use the aftertouch. So aftertouch, that is down here, channel aftertouch, controls the modulation 2 amount, so if I press more on the keyboard, it adds the vibrato. Can make it even spacier. I mean, this is a very long one. Well, let's make it even spacier for the very end. Make it really insane. Oh, nice. A bit different attack. Oh, we can make it even go out of space. So now we have a distance from Pluto until, let's say, Mars. Let's make it polyphonic. Okay. Cool, just playing around with the reverb, making a very extreme reverb sound. This is the saw wave. Let's go to square wave, the last thing. It's almost a Vangelis sound. Yeah, cool, isn't it? Let's save this preset. I will call save preset in folder. If I'm not wrong, I should save it somewhere. Okay, so these are the bank folders, and I should have my own folder, which is a temporary one. Default. Let's save it there. And then I give it a name, Spacy Rob. Okay, I saved this one, so maybe I can upload it to the section below the live stream. The live stream. This in YouTube. You have below it. You have the info section, and then I will load this Spacy. With the insane reverb. Nice, isn't it? Yeah, I really like it. Okay, guys, yeah, this video will be, of course, again in the playlist for live streams, and I would say check in next week. Next week, Thursday, I will present one of the new plugins which will be inside the Explore 5 bundle, and it will be also a separate plugin. And this plugin is something everybody can use, and which is something everybody most likely will like, because it increases the quality of your mix. So check this next week Thursday. And anyhow, thank you for watching, guys, and see you next time.